It's actually a doable passage. I won't say it's a sitter or I won't say it is easy, but it's very doable. I'm going to read this slowly and then discuss it, then go to the questions. As defined by the geographer Yi Fu Tuan, topophilia is the affective bond between people and place. And simple enough definition, people and place. His 1974 book set forth a wide-ranging exploration of how the emotive ties with the material environment vary greatly from person to person and in intensity, subtlety, and mode of expression. And so some people are fierce Mumbaikars, some are less so. Some are rabid Chennaiites, some are less so. I think that's all he's talking about. Factors influencing one's depth of response to the environment include cultural background, gender, race, and historical circumstance. And Tuan also argued that there is a biological and sensory element. And so your background, the setting, what is the circumstance that where you're in? So you might have been a fierce Indian in 1947, probably less so in 1995. Right? Topophilia might not be the strongest of human emotions. Indeed, many people feel utterly indifferent towards the environment that shaped their lives. But when activated, it has the power to elevate a person to become the carrier of emotionally charged events or to be perceived as a symbol. And so I've seen this also. Some people, whether they are in Kanpur or in Mumbai or Delhi, are as happy or as sad as ever. Right? For some others, either the circumstance or history or their own time in life makes the place emotionally charged. Aesthetic appreciation is one way in which people respond to the environment. Definitely. A brilliantly colored rainbow after gloomy afternoon showers, a busy street alive with human interaction. One might experience the beauty of such landscapes that had seemed quite ordinary only moments before or that are being newly discovered. And so the visual link is powerful. I see something and it strikes a chord and I start identifying with the place. That is true. This is quite the opposite of a second topophilic bond, namely that of the acquired taste for certain landscapes and places that one knows well. When a place is home, or when a space has become the locus of memories or the means of gaining a livelihood, it frequently evokes a deeper set of attachment than those predicated purely on the visual. Oh, this is definitely true. I might love the beauty and grandeur of a palace in Mysore. Or I might just fall in love with the Marine Drive walk, or I'll be thrilled by the view in a fabulous beach. But I like the setting in my office, the place where I sit and shoot my videos, where I switch something on and I'm just naturally at ease in this place. And so that is the response that he is talking about. My degree of comfort, which has come with layers of iteration, make me drawn and cozy, feel like home. A third response to the environment also depends on the human senses, but may be tactile and olfactory. And olfactory is to do with the sense of smell, namely in a delight in the feel and smell of air, water, and the earth. That is true. So this is also true. We can sense this intuitively. Topophilia and its very close conceptual twin sense of place. Topophilia, I would have called it sense of space, sense of place. He's calling it as a close conceptual twin to sense of place. It's an experience that, however elusive, has inspired recent architects and planners. Wonderful. So this is made architects sit up and take notice. Most notably, new urbanism seeks to counter the perceived placelessness of modern suburbs and the decline of central cities through neo-traditional design motifs. It's a lot of tough words. It's like the guys who are born in Kanpur living in Mumbai, guys born in Mumbai living in Lucknow. There's so many people from many different places that come to cities like Mumbai or Bangalore that they make it their own over generation. But there is quite a few people who have no sense of attachment to the place. They think of themselves as, okay, I'm here for 2 years, but I have no connect with the place. I don't feel that this is a topophilia towards a city. He's saying architects are looking to break that by creating through neo-traditional design motifs, creating an identity to the modern suburb. In one sense, the modern suburb or a big apartment complex in Hyderabad, Bangalore, Mumbai or Chennai is indistinguishable from the other. But he's saying we'll create a neo-traditional design motive. So people feel a sense of connect with the place. Although motivated by good intentions, such attempts to create places rich in meaning are perhaps bound to disappoint. Exactly what I was thinking. You can't manufacture a feeling of association with a place. So some of us who grew up in some small town with an ancestral house or might feel an attachment to that town because every summer we went to meet the grandfather's place. You can't contrive that in a new cosmopolitan town. As Tuan noted, purely aesthetic responses often are suddenly revealed, but their intensity rarely is long-lasting. I've seen this. I've seen recreation of a fabulous village-like setting in a big apartment complex. You look at it and you feel, oh my God, this is fantastic. But then at the corner there is a mobile phone charging place, and next time I see it, I think like a nice cute thing, but there's no cord that's connected. Topophilia is difficult to design for and impossible to quantify. Exactly. I would have completely agreed with this. I'm finding myself nodding in agreement with this. It is difficult to design for, impossible to quantify. True. And its most articulate interpreters have been self-reflective philosophers such as Henry David Thoreau, evoking a marvelously intricate sense of place at Walden Pond, and Tuan describing his deep affinity for the desert. And so these guys have described topophilia wonderfully, but it's difficult to design for, impossible to quantify. Topophilia connotes a positive relationship, but it often is useful to explore the darker affiliations between people and place. I like being here. I like there's a connect between me and the place. That's a positive feeling. But he's talking about something darker. See, patriotism, literally meaning the love of one's terra patria or homeland, has long been cultivated by governing elites for a range of nationalist projects, including war preparation and ethnic cleansing. He's saying, I feel too attached to a place. Somebody can manipulate me and make me do some wild things, like being ready for war. Residents of upscale residential developments have disclosed how important it is to maintain their community's distinct identity, often by casting themselves in a superior social position and by reinforcing class and racial differences. Oh, this is so true. So upscale development, they'll have their separate security system. They'll take every effort to fortify themselves. They'll say, okay, the outside is Mumbai, this side is special Mumbai. That is Amchi Mumbai, this is mine only Mumbai. And they do that. And often by casting themselves in superior position. Of course, anyone who says this is exclusive to me, the built-in message is superior position. No denying that. And just as a beloved landscape is suddenly revealed, so too may landscapes of fear cast a dark shadow over a place that makes one feel a sense of dread or anxiety or topophobia. You can, to a place I can form a connect through different layers. One is an aesthetic, visual, other is comfort, degree of familiarity, then olfactory senses, then all of these could create a connect between people and place as a positive thing, or it could make you afraid of it, or a phobic thing, or topophobia. Wonderful. Not easy, but not too difficult. Now let's go and jump in and see the questions. The word topophobia in the passage is used, fear of places, right, to represent a feeling of dread towards particular spaces and places. I would jump in. Oops. I already like this. I am going to see the other choices, but I already like this. As a metaphor expressing the failure of the homeland to accommodate non-citizen. Nothing. It's not talking about patriotism, citizenship, none of that. To signify the fear of studying the complex discipline of I would love it. Somebody with a good sense of humor has written this one. So you're not talking about learning the discipline of topography. To signify feelings of fear or anxiety towards topophilic people. No, the first one is an obvious choice. Fine. So topophobia is having a sense of dread towards some spaces and places. In the last paragraph, the author uses the example of residents of upscale residential developments. So what does he do? He talks about exclusivism. He talks about topophilia and its negative shades. I'm creating a space which is exclusive to me, creating an attachment for myself, where the exclusion gives me the sense of superiority. Introduction of nationalist projects by such elites to produce a sense of dread or topophobia. No. Manner in which environments are designed to minimize the social exclusion of their clientele. Minimize the social exclusion of their clientele? No, to maximize the social exclusion. They want it to be exclusive. They want it to convey, oh my God, we are really cool. We are staying inside this place. Tell you what. And so, sensitive response to race and class problems in upscale residential development, completely non-sensitive. And so it's also the wrong. And so hopefully answer D should jump out. Social exclusivism practiced by such residents in order to enforce a sense of racial or class superiority. Yes. So they create a mechanism by which they're screaming out that they are exclusive, that they are different, distinctive, superior, better, and using the geography of the place to communicate that. The look and feel architecture of the place to communicate that. Which one of the following best captures the meaning of the statement, topophilia is difficult to design for and impossible to quantify? Well, it is intangible. It is the idea of a person attachment to a place, and that can vary from person to person. So it is, you cannot say, okay, topophilia for Lala Rajpat Nagar for in indoor. People in all the people in Rajpat Nagar in this place, they really like the color blue and they like their soil to be red. So blue color, soil red. Therefore, we'll create a sense of topophilia. Impossible. Impossible. People are different, distinctive, tough to quantify, and therefore very difficult to design for. Right? Philosopher architects are uniquely suited to develop. Philosophers are not uniquely suited to develop anything except their own thought processes. People's responses to their environment are usually subjective and so cannot be rendered in design. I am already liking it. Architects have to objectively quantify spaces and hence cannot be topophilic. No, they can be. They can get a sense of topophilia. They don't need to objectively quantify. You cannot objectively quantify and get an intuitive sense of place. The deep anomy of modern urbanization led to new urbanism's intricate sense of place. This is a mishmash of words. I don't even know what it means, but it is not the right choice. Choice B screams out. Which one of the following comes closest in meaning to the author's understanding of topophilia? Author's understanding an intuitive link between person and place. The French are not overly patriotic, but they will refuse to use English as far as possible, even when they know it well. This is some sort of some sort of opposite of bonhomie between the French and the English. They don't get along that well. So, but I don't think this is the right answer. This is very iffy. I don't even see the connect. The tendency of many cultures to represent their land as motherland or fatherland may be seen as an expression of their topophilia, not homophilia. Topophilia. This seems right, but I would love if there were a better choice. And so this seems like there's nothing controversial about this, but it's not screaming out. Scientists have found that most creatures, including humans, are either born with or cultivate a strong sense of topography. So the author is not particularly talking about something scientific. Author's understanding of topophilia is very intuitive, very subliminal, not quantifiable and measurable, and not therefore scientific. And so I'm not a fan of this choice, not a fan of this choice as well. Nomadic societies are known to have the least affinity for the lands through which they traverse because they tend to be topophobic. For some reason, TOPO and HOMO have drawn a connect in my brain. Forgive that. Nomadic societies are known to have the least affinity for the land through which they traverse because they tend to be topophobic. There's nothing where he has said nomadic societies tend to be topophobic. Author's not drawing this link very powerfully anywhere. So choice B is indeed going to be the correct answer. That's not great, but A, C, and D find no mention anywhere. Which of the following statements, if true, could be seen as not contradicting the arguments in the passage? Not contradicting. I'm going to replace that with agreeing. Okay. If three of them contradict and one is neutral, then I'll go for it. But I'm going to go for the statement that agrees. Generally speaking, in a given culture, that ties the people to their environment very little in significance or intensity. So, vary a lot. It changes from person to person. Some have a strong connect, some don't. Right. Patriotism, usually seen as a positive feeling, is presented by the author as a darker form of topophilia. Yes, the author would agree with it. He talks about topophilia being tapped into for war or cleansing and says it's a darker sense to this. So definitely this is a likely choice. New urbanism succeeded in those designs where architects collaborated with, he says new urbanism is unlikely to succeed. You cannot quantify this. You cannot design for this. It just happens to come. And architects collaborating with their clients, no, even the clients cannot articulate this. The most important, even fundamental response to our environment is our tactile and olfactory. He's saying first, second, third. This happens to be the third set of responses. No reason to think that this is the most important. Right? Choice B stands out very clearly. Let's look at that statement once again to just be very reassured. Patriotism, literally meaning the love of one's therapeutic, has long been cultivated by governing elites, followed immediately from darker affiliation between people and people. Right? So tap into the sense of place that people have to achieve kind of nefarious objectives. And so patriotism is not described or not spoken as a positive expression of topophilia. This